All right, welcome to The Explainer. So, we all know Elon Musk, right? The guy with the cars, the rockets. But what if all that is just the tip of the iceberg? What if those products are just tools for a vision of humanity that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction? Today, we're going to dig into the core philosophy, the real why behind every single thing he builds. So, in a recent, pretty wide-ranging interview, Musk kind of pushed past all the usual business talk about profit margins and specs. Instead, he got right to the heart of it all. What's the fundamental question that drives everything he's doing? It's basically this. How do we, as a species, expand our collective consciousness so we can finally start to understand the universe and our place in it?
Okay, let's really break this down, because this is where it gets interesting. You and I, we see a Tesla, a Falcon 9 rocket, a social media platform, products. But that's not what he sees. For him, these are literally tools, instruments for this huge, almost sci-fi goal of forging a collective human mind, a mind capable of asking the biggest questions there are.
All right, so let's start with something we all know, the Platform X. To really get his vision, you have to stop thinking about it as just another social network. It's supposed to be the first piece of this giant puzzle, the groundwork for that collective consciousness. I mean, he says it right here. This isn't about competing with other apps, not really. He's trying to build something like a digital nervous system for all of humanity, a place where our ideas, our thoughts, our conversations can all connect and become something bigger, a single collective intelligence. And when you look at it that way, the features start to make a different kind of sense. Take automatic translation. You might think, oh, that's handy. But for Musk, it's way more than that. It's a critical tool for breaking down the walls between languages and cultures, right? So we can finally have one single global conversation. And his logic for why this is so important? It's actually pretty simple. Think about it. One person, no matter how brilliant they are, can't build a spaceship. It's just too complex. But a group of humans, a collective, they absolutely can, by sharing their specialized knowledge. So for him, the better we communicate, the faster information flows, the more incredible things humanity can achieve. Okay, so if X is all about connecting the consciousness we already have, the next logical step in this grand plan is, well, to create an artificial one. And he's pretty clear that this isn't just going to be some minor upgrade for society. No, this is a full-blown revolution that will change literally everything. And get this, here's his big, bold prediction. He thinks that in less than 20 years, AI and robotics will have advanced so much that having a job will be totally optional. Yeah, like a job will be a hobby, something you do because you enjoy it, not because you need it to pay the bills. I mean, that completely flips our entire society, which has been built around work for thousands of years, on its head. But, and this is a big but, he's also the first to admit that we have no idea what this future actually looks like. He compares the AI singularity to a black hole's event horizon. We know we're heading towards it, we can see it coming, but what happens once we cross that line? It's impossible to know from where we're standing now. And this is a really important point he makes. He's not talking about universal basic income, he's talking about universal high income. A future where there is such unbelievable abundance, all created by AI and robots, that pretty much anything you want, any product or service you can think of, you can just have it. So if you follow that logic, a world of near infinite abundance, it leads to an even crazier, more radical idea. It makes you question something we take for granted every single day, money. Right. In this future where nobody has to work, Musk argues that money just becomes obsolete. It's not like there's a revolution to get rid of it, it just fades away. Why? Because its main job, organizing human labor, doesn't exist anymore. And here's the absolute core of that argument. He sees money as basically an information system. Its whole purpose is to tell people what to do and where to put their effort. So if robots and AI are doing all the work, you don't need that information system anymore. It's useless. So what's left? What's the real currency? Energy. The actual physics-based ability to get things done. Okay, so this journey is taking us to some pretty wild places. And now we're at the very top of his philosophical pyramid. I mean, if we can create artificial minds and reshape our entire world with technology, it forces you to ask the biggest question of all. Is any of this even real?
Yeah, Musk thinks the odds are pretty high that what we call reality is actually just a super advanced computer simulation. And his reasoning is surprisingly straightforward. 50 years ago, we had Pong, 2 rectangles and a dot. Today we have virtual reality that's getting scarily close to photorealistic. So just follow that line. If we keep improving at this rate, it's basically a guarantee that simulations will become completely indistinguishable from reality, which leads to the chilling question, how can we be so sure we're in the original, base reality and not just one of those simulations?
But wait, he takes this theory one step further, and this is where my mind really gets blown. Think about it. If you were playing a really boring video game, you'd turn it off, right? Well, he figures the creators of our simulation would probably do the same thing, and that leads to a pretty wild conclusion. The most likely path for our reality to take is the most interesting one, the most dramatic, the most unpredictable. Why? Because that makes for a good story, and it keeps the beings running the simulation from hitting quit.
Okay, so after that deep dive into collective consciousness, a future without work, and the very nature of reality itself, Musk brings it all crashing back down to earth with one simple, really practical piece of advice for how to live your life right now. He boils down all of that cosmic, high-level thinking into this one fundamental principle. In a world where money might not even matter someday, where reality itself might be a game, what's the one thing that has real value? Your contribution. So, his advice is to stop chasing money or status for its own sake and just focus on one thing: creating more value than you consume. Be a net positive for humanity. That's it. And that really leaves us with one final massive question to chew on. If he's right, if this post-work world actually happens, then the struggle for survival that has defined human history for millennia is over. And then we as a species will face a brand new challenge, maybe the hardest one yet: finding meaning in a world of total abundance. When you don't have to do anything, what do you choose to do? What will our purpose be then?